By the way, did you see the Ghost Town video we did yesterday about the trading floors returning? But when? We don't know. We know the New York Stock Exchange is coming back on the 26th. That's next Tuesday. We don't know when these floors will be back here in Chicago, but we'll be watching and reporting for you. Bang. All right. Let us get down to business, shall we? 3 at 3. That's what we're talking about, folks. Every business day, 3 at marketrebellion.com. That's right. If you go over to marketrebellion.com/UOA, you can see all about it. You see how much it costs. You can see which various levels you could afford that might be suitable for you. You can also check out all of our educational offerings, education in stocks, options, futures, cryptocurrencies. Whatever you want to trade, chances are we have something for you. So that's all the hard sell it is, just right there. Check it out at marketrebellion.com. Bang. All right. Disclaimer is that this is for educational purposes only. It's to inform and educate you. It is not for me to act as your financial advisor. You can go find one of those, and good luck to you with that. All right, let's go to it. Facebook. Yeah, you knew I'd hit this one. Why? Well, because just after I was on the halftime report today, we talked about unusual activity in the this week expiration 220 calls. Stock was just over 215 before I came on air. Then during the time that I was on air, I think it was roughly 216.50 or thereabouts, about $1 higher. And they traded an awful lot of these calls. 9,000 of these calls were bought, folks. And these calls were bought for 60 cents, which is $60. Every option is for 100 shares of stock. So from $60 all the way up to $1.44. That was before I went on air. And then, of course, there it is. From one of my friends on Twitter, I think it was Permabear Doomster, posted this up. And as we were talking about unusual activity, I said, hey, these May 220 calls, really big volume. Keep in mind, time frame, this week, that's fast money. That's by Friday, something has to happen. We're on Tuesday already, folks. That means we've got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 3 days after today. So this is somebody that thinks that they have tomorrow's newspaper today, and they're acting on it. Now, as it turns out, they're going to have a little bit of a deal with Shopify for stores on their site, on Facebook, and so forth. So, a lot of commerce going through here, potentially. Is that making Facebook more dear, more worth than it was yesterday? Oh, yeah. That news broke 10 minutes after we finished on air. Those calls ran from 60 cents and $1.44. There you see where the stock was. Stock popped, as you can see, not just because I mentioned it, but because of that news, popped all the way through 220 to the upside. Bang! So they bought an out-of-the-money call that they said, I think something's going to happen by the end of the week. Okay, they were right. Now, those calls that they paid 60 cents to $1.44, well, take a look at where they are now. They are trading $3.30. So if you bought these calls for, say, 60 cents, 60 goes into 33. How many times? You guys can do the math. I'm confident. But I'd say you made 5 times what that initial capital outlay was. Now, if you paid $1.50, which you might have paid, if you did it after we spoke on the halftime report, well, you still have more than a double, 100% on your money. And it's not always this easy, folks. It doesn't always just take 10 minutes, but that's all it took this time. Roughly 10 minutes from when I mentioned this on air, these calls popped. And, knock on wood, bang, bang, we were able to ring the register. Why? Because if you followed me at all, you know several things. Number one, that we follow unusual activity, which means we're looking for blocks of calls trading on or through the offer, or blocks of puts trading on or through the offer. If it's calls, that's bullish. If it's puts, that's bearish. We follow that activity. This is not me listening and getting tipped off or something like that. We're following data, the data that's embedded in every trade that goes on throughout the day. Now, not every trade is as valuable. So what we do is we're looking for blocks of options. When we see blocks of options being accumulated on the call side, that's bullish. On the put side, that's bearish. You get the idea. Bang. By the way, you probably paid for a couple years of our subscription just with that trade. Now, let's look at another. BHC, Bausch, BHC. Bullish call buying, stock 1743. They bought 8,000 of the next week expiration, not this coming, not this Friday, next Friday. So instead of just having 3 days, you got to add another week to that. So basically, you've got 10 days to be right on this one. They're buying the just out of the money 18 calls with the stock at 1743. So how much did they pay? Well, 34 cents to 64 cents. Every option is for 100 shares of stock. So that means $34 to $64. So that means that somebody's putting down, a $30 bet. 10 of those will cost them $300. 10 of those at 64 cents will cost you $640. That controls 1,000 shares of stock at 18. Now, what happens here? Well, let's see. Right now, the stock's 18.10. Where was it here? 1743. So as you see, we're already up 67 cents from when we saw that earlier today. Now, have these calls doubled? Not quite yet, but they are moving up. And my discipline is if they go 2x, if they go to a double, I will take half of that money and put it in my pocket where it belongs. I'll let the rest run for a while in hopes that it goes higher still. Now, what happens, John, when the calls go against you? Because they do, from time to time, go against us. When that happens, I cut my losses, move on to the next trade. So, if I paid, for instance, 64 cents, at give or take 32 cents, I'm out. I'm not going to ride those down to zero. Why? Because that's 32 hard-earned dollars for every option that I own. I don't want to lose money, but I also don't want to lose another $32 if I'm wrong. So I cut my losses. I let my winners run. That, my friends, is how you stay in the game. That's our second of our 3 at 3. And now for the third and final of our 3 at 3, after Bausch Loan Company, Bausch Health Companies, let's take a look at Alibaba, shall we? Baba. I said, I think this thing goes through 220. I think we surge to the upside. Weekly calls. These are not cheap. Weekly calls, $4.30 to $6.30. So what did I do? I bought the at the monies, those 220s, and I sold the higher strike. In fact, while I'm talking about it, BABA, let's see how that worked out. It is right now at 219, so it's down $1 from when we first got into these, which is another reason that selling an upside call against them seems to make a lot of sense. These calls purchased for between 430 to 630. Where are they now? Let's see. The 220 calls are $5.85 right now. A little bit higher than where I bought them. I bought them at $5.60. So I didn't get them on the low end at all. So unlike some of your friends who you say all the time, hey, how does he always buy the bottom and sell the top? Well, number one, I don't do that. I don't buy the bottom and I rarely get to sell the top. But I've managed to make a living in between, and I think you can too. So I own these from about $5.80. That's the 220 calls that expire this Friday, keep in mind. And what did I sell against them? Well, I sold these, the 220 250s. That's 2225, 225 50s. Sold those for right about where we are now, $4.80. So I'm into this thing for $1. It could go to $2.50. So I have a little over a double if the stock goes through 225. If it goes through $220.50. I'm sorry, 220. I'm having a hard time with this, folks. Probably a little too much celebrating, if you know what I mean. If it goes through 22250, then I will be making $1.50 on $1 investment. So for every spread that I have on, $1 means $100. So 1,000 share representation would be a 10 lot. A 10 lot of these would be $1,000. So 1,000 shares for $1,000 versus 1,000 shares of this $220 stock would have been $220,000. You tell me which you think has more risk. The thing you have to understand, though, is theta. That's time decay. These options expire this Friday. So you want to be nimble. That's why I also sold those calls above. So I own these calls, the 220s. I sold the 225.50s right here. So that means that if we go through the strike that I sold, I don't make any more money. I am capped out. I've hit the ceiling, gone as much as I can go. But I address time decay to a large extent because instead of having $5.80 out there, I have $5.80 that I paid, $4.80 that I collected. The net is $1. So I have $1 hanging out there. Don't feel nearly as bad about that. And if volatility compresses, if all of a sudden BABA is not as attractive and the volatility compresses instead of expands, instead of me losing money for every bit that I lose on these 220s that I'm long, I'll make money on the 225 calls above there that I'm short. That's how it works, my friends. There's the graph with it at 219.20. So you want to learn more about it, you go to marketrebellion.com/UOA. That's marketrebellion.com/UOA. Also, Thursday, 2 days from now, I have a great privilege of bringing on Jack Carr. Jack Carr is a thriller writer, and he is fantastic. I am just glued to this book. It is called Terminal List. That's the first of his 3 books. So I'm rereading Terminal List about James Reese, a Navy SEAL who finds that there's a little bad stuff going on within the military, and he fights against it. And this is a thriller that I can't wait to talk about with Mr. Carr. Again, Jack Carr, fabulous book, folks. If you like Brad Thor, who's another one of my favorite authors, he is good friends with both me and Jack Carr, and he helped Jack Carr get this book published, the first book. Now, Jack Carr has had 2 since then, and they are all fabulous. So make sure you check it out. I'll be interviewing Mr. Carr on the close on Thursday this week, just 2 days hence. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a great day. Hope you had some Facebook. And even if you didn't, check out marketrebellion.com/UOA, where you can learn more about what we do and how you can do it too. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have a great day, folks.